Hello. Uh, let's go ahead and get into it. Today we're doing layout on an EOG partner project called OriginPath. You may have seen me streaming this before. We're still in the data input phase, so we left off at halfling, and we've got the heritages done. So now we're moving on to their feats, their initial feats. So we go up here, copy an instance of the feat, or actually, do this, copy it with the header to minimize how much I've got to mess around with. Halfling feats. Extracting shadows. We've got our scenario here. Our roleplay prompt. And we have an encounter scenario. There we go. So it's pretty simple work that we're doing at the moment. The more complicated bits of fitting and whatnot will come later. We're gonna sort of just keep pattern repeating here because it is faster than typing out the same thing. And as always, there's little intricacies of oddity like that, where it'll always give us an extra line off of these because we're copying out of a table. And I realized, because I got handed this document in a partially done state already. I've got to make some alterations. So there are finer, detailed things like that I was talking about last time I was streaming that I'm going to not really be doing this time because I'm going to have to be doing plenty of changes later. And so a matter of efficiency is to not have to touch things as few times as you need to, basically. So if I'm gonna have to do something that might change, like if I make a line break and I need to end up undoing that line break later, that's wasted effort and time. So try to do as little of that as possible. We're just going to focus purely on data input right now. was playing lore. Whoops. Oops, dang, I pulled the wrong thing. See? Next is have weapon familiarity. Prairie Rider. You have your feet is next. Hey, hello, welcome in. I see you found your Twitch login. Uh, I'll go by your handle, a Z1. Made a new account. Okay. That also works. Welcome in. Hello. Well then I can get your build one was a prime thing anyway. Gotcha. Well then I've got a question for you. This one here, Prairie Rider. The premise is you're traveling across the plains with either a pony or riding dog, and the replay prompts are about the lands around you and stuff. It doesn't seem very encounter focused, yet the mechanic is listed as encounter. I feel like it might do better as exploration, but that's up to you. It's your thingy. Whenever it's a single action, I just say encounter. That's fair. Or within 3 actions. That's fair. And like following that logic, I can better know when to prompt such a question. So, all right, we leave it be. Yeah, I'm just doing. Oops. I don't know why I did that. I'm just doing data input right now. Last time I didn't realize how much I was going to have to actually like work with changing some of the layout that was already here. So I was doing more detailed stuff, like where here there's a singular thing, I would cascade it so that it wouldn't do that. So we'd have something more like that where it looks a little nicer. But because things are going to probably end up moving around a lot after the data entry stage, I have stopped doing that and I'm just working on data entry. So that we do not have any issues with having to basically touch it twice, if that makes sense. Otherwise, we just end up wasting time, and that's not good. No, you're fine. It's not a you thing. Especially going from any sort of Word document to final layout, there's always stuff. Like, it doesn't matter how used to it you are or how new you are, there's always something that needs to change. Titan Slinger. So, it's no biggie. Like, don't worry about it. It's just a part of the process. Part of it too was James and I do layout differently. The ends are approximately the same, but we go about it in different ways. James prefers to do single page layouts. So like you can see this diagonal line here. That's page flow, which will automatically cause this one to run into this one. And I do that a lot. With sometimes manually breaking it to control it a little better. James doesn't do that. James keeps it page by page and manually splits. And so it leads to differences in how we do the layout and how we end up our workflow, basically. How we change our workflow. So when I got handed this, it was all in single page. And so I've made some I've made a few tweaks, and going forward, I'm using this. There are places where I break it just so that it is cleaner. And if we take a look here, especially on earlier pages, you'll probably see there's a lot of like this where a page just breaks and goes on to the next section because that cleaner cut is nicer. But obviously, this isn't great. So this is somewhere where we'd put art or something like that. But until I'm done with data entry, I'm not going to be messing with art because, again, basically once data entry is done, we come all the way back up to the top and we start working our way down with adjustments, because they will cascade downward, and every little change at the top creates more changes at the bottom. And that's just how it do. And so you'll see a lot of jank until you start approaching the final product. Basically, it's just how it is. And I've done this incorrectly. I'm not always the best at talking and doing at the same time. I try, but I am sometimes poop at it. So here we're now looking at unfettered. Just shout out if you have any questions or comments so I can shift attention back. All right, no problem. Appreciate it. I will let you know if I have any questions. But having you say that like, if it's based on the actions, whether you put it in encounter or exploration, that actually is probably going to help a lot with my previous questions. Like, knowing your intent is a big thing for me, in terms of editing, at least. Yeah. It happens. Sometimes things are just like, well, you could cover every possible scenario, or you can just go for one, and it's fine. It's whatever you land on, because it does work both ways. I think in that case, it's generally better to go with the most granular version, because the granular versions also tend to function in, so like encounter mode stuff still functions in exploration mode. Exploration mode stuff still functions in downtime. It's just what you're doing when. I really like this song. It goes hard as hell. And we're about to finish up the halflings here with Watchful Halfling. And yeah, I will be working on this at least once a week, probably slightly more often, depending on what else I've got scheduled. Last week, my schedule got all screwed up and things got out of order. That's something on my screen? Okay, yeah. There was a dot. I was like, I didn't put a bullet there. It was just something on my screen. Alright, there we go. Dot's gone. Alright, if they are possessed, then you try to get. All right. So now we are going to produce new pages. We're going to cheat a little bit by just duplicating the pages that we have for the halfling. And then basically just deleting everything almost from them. And we'll move on to human, replacing what we need to along the way. Human. Humans with the shortest heritage list in the game, not including versatile. Although they have a lot more lineages and stuff, I think, with the Shori, Aromancy, and all that. I think they have the most lineage style feats. It might be now. I'm just using lineage as a reference. Like that's kind of how they work, but they were prototypical at the time instead of what we got with Tiefling and Azamar later. But I think because Azamar are in player core, or Nephilim are in player core, they are in core now. Let me look it up right quick. Nephilim PF2E. They are in player core. They are uncommon. But yeah, they've got lineages. Human. I wonder if they changed the human feats to have lineage or not. Devil's Advocate does not have lineage. So no, they're just cultural, but it looks like many of them are uncommon now, which I can't remember if they were before or not. I can click on it and find out. Oh, that's from the character guide. So yeah, those might not have been in the base. But yeah, lineage are the ones that are like, oh, this is specifically who's up your bloodline most of the time. Like if you choose Nephilim and your Angelkin, that's a lineage. I'm sure you know that, but I run at the mouth. It's good practice, I guess, as a streamer to keep talking. Because a quiet stream is very often a boring stream. Go back to the correct tab, shall we? All right, so we're going here. Type in any right here. Because it says encounter exploration or downtime, depending on the chosen actions or activity. Roll the appropriate skill check for the activity with a trained level of proficiency. Skilled human provides proficiency. And then just give that a copy. And we do versatile human. Versatile human provides a level 1 general feat. Please create a different snippet. Okay. Provides a level 1 general feat. Allowing herbs use berries. Berries. Versatile human provides a level 1 general feat, allowing for a wide breadth of possibility. Yeah, that would make this a very, very thick document. Very thick document. What do you think of that for the snippet? Versatile human provides a level 1 general feat, allowing for a wide breadth of possibility. Is that good? Opening up your Word doc. All right. Gotcha. In the meantime, I will move on to the cantrips. Or not at cantrips, the feats. The first feat is adapt cantrip, and that's where my mind was. It goes in my eyes and out my mouth. Maybe that. I'll just leave it as it's like that. Could you go back to versatile for a second? Yes. Because what I have in that slot. Okay. Cool beans. Because what I have in that slot basically says make something up. It's longer than that. It says provides a level 1 general feat, creating gameplay snippets for all possible level 1 feats is not within the scope of this document. Please use other snippets as a guide to create an appropriate snippet. And like that's the most catch-all. That's the most catch-all heritage in the game, I think. Because there's more level 1 feats across classes than there are skills. Ancient Elf, yeah. Because they get a whole bunch of stuff, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I looked at elves. Actually, is there a way to change the view. Mode. Nope. Where's that free flow version thing? I might be one of the experts on first level options in the player core because of this. I know that feeling. I know that feeling so well. I deep dive things when I start getting into them. So if you ever need to know anything at all about materials, special materials, hardness, hit points, broken thread, their themes, how they interact with different thicknesses and all sorts of stuff, I gotcha. In fact, I've got a document for it. I showed it off on stream yesterday too. Brain work. There we go. Brain is working now. The Docs does this thing where it breaks a line in tables and it's all janky and bleh. So I had to go back and fix adapted cantrip. Let's line break that so it looks nicer. Oh no, did that. I said I wasn't gonna do that. I'm not doing that because it's gonna move later probably. Or actually, no, because we're still gonna do hard cuts on these with any luck. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's on the first page, so of the thing. Encounter exploration or downtime depending on friend's action or activity. Right. We can do berries. Yeah, let's do berries instead of any. That way we don't have two different terms that mean almost the same thing. What? That wasn't what I meant to copy. There we go. After describing how it's helping Mr. How. Having troubles climbing or bending off a bully. Attack roll describing this is after describing how this is helping. You're good. I found what you mean, I think. When we're back, I'll confirm. Boop. Sit here for a second and take a drink. All right, we should be about back. I give it a few seconds because the thing's not always accurate. All right, so this is what you meant here? Is this how was missing? Right here? Or am I missing something else? Yep, okay, cool beans. Alright, so we are on to general training. Boop. Okay, we're gonna copy this one because it's very similar. And general. Oops. General training provides one general feat, allowing for a wide breadth of possibility. Is it? Hold on. First level general feat. Yeah, that's right. Is my brain short circuiting? No, you get general feats on both of them. Okay. I could have swore one of them gave you a. Oh, natural ambition is what I'm thinking of. Okay. We get there. We get there. Sorry. This is just my own brain going, you're forgetting something. And it was because I was forgetting that there are two different ones that are similar but different. Haughty obstinacy. Like human, you are arrogant. Have benefits. This one's exploration. Highlight encounter. Lowercase and italicized spells. That's another thing I have talked about a few times is impulse capitals, where you capitalize something because you feel like it's important. And spell, like magic items and spells are almost universally lowercase and italicized. But only magical items. If it's an alchemical or a mundane item, you don't italicize it, which I honestly don't think that italics should be just for magic. I think they should be for items in general. Whether those be items, quote unquote, be spells or items, just for clearer style inference, but that's just me. That's how they work. But everybody does impulse capitals. I do impulse capitals, and I talk about how and why not to do impulse capitals all the time. Style guide stuff, yeah. Actually go ahead and unspoken rules and guidelines of design in 2E. This is my sheet that has all that stuff. That's some style guide stuff, and some of it's like, here's some unspoken stuff about building items. Here's how materials work and are structured. all that. And throw that in chat again like I did before. If you want to take a look at it, I made it for anybody to look at. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm not saying you need to. But I'll try not to get too sidetracked, because this is a much larger project than what I was working on yesterday. And it needs more work done on it. So try not to tangent too hard. And this is delay choosing this until stage 5 and then follow the class feat snippet for the chosen class feat. Varies. Is there a period? There it's not. And then follow the class feat. See, I just did it. Impulse capital. But like these are great examples of impulse capitals. You capitalize class feat, capitalize class here. Those are things that wouldn't be capitalized. 2E does make it a little easier to do impulse capitals because we have intended impulse capitals, or they're not impulses at that point, but like coerce actions are capitalized, activities are capitalized, feats are capitalized. So like it gets you in the mindset of capitalizing important things, but then goes, aha, you messed up. Natural skill. Oops. There's a lot of varies mechanics in human. Their power just comes from being very blank slatey, really. Like they're just a wall of plugs. They got a bunch of USB ports. That's what gives them power. Goblin and Leshy, yeah, they have a lot of flavor. Probably out of core, those are probably up there. Dwarves have a good amount too, but they've got a lot of built up lore. 1 second. Give me 1 sec. The kittens want some food. I'll be right back. I am back. Sorry about the little break. Yeah, Goblin and Leshy are very flavor filled. I think most of the rest have like a lot of unintended baggage. Just because, you know, they are more traditional, if not entirely so. Encounter. Okay, and that's humans. So we will, they're very short. We'll just go ahead and break. Oh, actually, I need to pay attention to something. Yep. I thought so. Okay. So we're going to select all of this and Control exit. And we're just going to delete this top page here because it breaks the left-right pattern. But we should be able to just paste in here, and now our left-right pattern is correct. Huzzah. Simple. And we're on to Leshy. So that happened because I duplicated 3 pages earlier instead of 2. Do you ever do layout? Remember, everything in 2, or multiples of 2 at least. Okay. The cactus Leshy, everybody's best boy. Leshy. Page break, you almost tricked me again. Not this time. I think you or someone else should change to someone. Someone interacts, removes fruit, and consumes it. Fruit Leshy. That's the beginning of a sentence. So that fruit stays up, Leshy goes down. Same here. Actually, that one might be the appropriate use for capitalization. Okay. No. Only capitalize ancestral term when it is or you don't capitalize ancestral terms. The whole capitalizing something like elf or elvendom or elven would be like if they come from somewhere that their name derives from. Let me double check. Fruit Leshy. Your body continually produces a dawn each day new fruit ripening. You or an ally can remove it as an interact action. If a living creature that can derive sustenance from fruit consumes it as an interact action within the next hour, they regain 1d8 hit points. Leshy. Base details. Let's see. Plant nourishment. Plants or fungi that match your body type normally do through combination of photosynthesis, absorbing minerals with your roots, or scavenging decaying matter. Leshies are kind of weird. So in theory, like they couldn't shove it in their mouth, but they could step on it. Yeah. So like that's gonna be a thing that's kind of up to interpretation. So yeah. The down here. Then consumes it. So it's kind of up for question. I think a lot of people would lean towards no. So it's like it's sort of like the bleed thing. Like some people don't think that leshies should be susceptible to bleed damage because they don't have blood. Whereas like a lot of people interpret as long as you've got some sort of juice in you, you can bleed. Like it may not be the right kind. It might not be blood in a hemoglobin sense, but if you, sap or oils, juice for cactus and fruit leshies, stuff like that, and root leshy, I think is technically, I think it's potato juice, which doesn't sound appetizing, but it's what it is. Oh, that was up here too, I think. Oh, it's because of that. All right, never mind. I'm overthinking things. But like it's just not stated at all, but like I think like there's a lot of things that are potentially immune to bleed damage just because they are not traditional in their biology. Like, one thing that 2E does a fairly large amount of is giving you room to dictate flavor by arbitrating the reason. So, like, well, why does a leshy bleed? It doesn't have blood. Well, it's got sap, or it's got oil, or it's got water, and it's hyphae, or whatever, you know? You find a reason to make the mechanics work narratively, which I'm not opposed to. It offers a lot of freedom in terms of what you can do. Take an item and start using it right away. Retrieving. Oh, is that a remaster change? I don't remember them being able to do that before. That's nice. Them being able to use it as part of the action. Oh, it was homebrew? And then they codified it for the new version. Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't remember that. Then again, one of my first characters was a Gord Leshy, and I haven't played one since. Not because I don't like them, it's just I don't get to play very often. I GM quite often, but I don't get to play all that often. Where did I go? There I am. Okay. Now on to Leaf Leshy. I think this is supposed to be off, not of, probably. Lotus Leshy. Angband. Fleshy. Them potato boy. Uh-oh. That happens every once in a while. Affinity just crashes, but Affinity has a really good backup system, so yes, I would like to reload the recovery one. Like saves my work every 10 minutes or so. Yeah, it looks like it saved it just a minute ago. So convenient. So I guess they knew it was slightly unstable for whatever reason, and gave it a properly good backup system. Just saved my butt innumerable times. I am using version 1, not 1.0, but 1 point whatever was the last update, because that's what James uses. I have version 2, but it's not backwards compatible, so I use version 1 to ensure that if I pass this file, that they can use it. Seaweed leshy. Unfortunately, ads are my only means of making money on here at all, for the most part. And like, I don't get a whole lot from them, but they'll add up eventually. Which one? Heading. Go ahead and update these. My new buttons while I'm here. Alright, we should be about back. Yeah, we're just moving the challenge type of the mechanics. That was how it was already formatted when it was handed to me. So I continued with that. I can go back and start adding them in if you'd like. But yeah, basically the part where it's just like, oh, this is for encounter mode, and it might be for movement or something like that. Those, when James handed them to me, those were not included. Is the first one I was working on was like Gnome, I think. Gnome was already there partially, and I was finishing Gnome, but everything before that was already there. Or maybe it was Elf. I can't remember. My memory is bad. But yeah, those were not included, so I just kept with the format. I presumed perhaps incorrectly that had already been discussed. But I can add them back if you'd like. It, I think generally speaking that they're inferred, but it's up to you. It's your thingamajiggy. From a perspective of a new player, you still oh, that's a saving throw. Okay, and then go back to the saving throw section and see what it is. Okay, so yeah, we can go about adding those back in. I think there's one or two of the ancestries where that'll actually cause them to need an extra page, but that'll all get dealt with later. Like right now we're doing clean cuts for each ancestry. It might, but like it's not like we have a specialty heading or anything for them, so they could end up going from one to another. It's not absurd to do so. That's something we think about later. Once we get to that stage. But but yeah, we can add those back in. Let me finish with the Leshy heritages at least, and then I'll go back and start backloading those back in. Seaweed Leshy. And mechanics. Okay, so the mode gets baked into these, so I think that can probably, yeah. So I think maybe the modes can be inferred here, or do you want me to add those back in as well? I scrolled up on accident. Okay, so here we do challenge type. Challenge. Oh, not light italic, just light. Challenge is movement. Oh, it did it anyway. Light. Challenge type, maybe. Something like that. Oops. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read the whole thing because it was like go work on the layout for this, please. And so I was like, okay, I'll just start up where you left off. So we're gonna do this. Copy that. Turns into a critical success. This one is lowercase too. Critical success is only capitalized when it's the like this, when it's the first bit that's bolded. Otherwise it's lowercase. But I do recall seeing one that I got sidetracked from where it had something like that. Was it in halfling? Was it all the way back here? Huh. Oh, yep, there it is right there. So this one we're going to get a little weird with. Actually, that works out great. Nice lineup. Could still make it better. So we've got our 6mm in. This is yes, that's what it is. So this should be 10 and this should be 6. There we go. Now it's properly inset. But I saw that somewhere. And like I'll do a scrub for stuff like that too, at some point. But that finishes out our Leshy heritages. So I just clear these out. And there it went again. Close. Open recent OriginPath. Most number of heritages is Leshy. I believe it. Gutsy halfling, did it take it? Oh, it forgot about that. Or actually, critical success means creatures. Now that I'm looking at that more, it probably doesn't need that. It just needs to be decapitalized on the success. Maybe a critical success, and then make sure that that's put back to light. There we go. Because it's not a specified mechanical effect, it's a explanation. Okay, so now we go to the top of this. So it's what, dwarf? Dwarven. Dwarf. Challenge type. So this should probably be, because these are all subsidiary, so this should probably be a heading 2. And yeah, like this is another section where either we'd be adding art or we need to backflow this into it. Hey Kobold, how's it going? Welcome in. Just doing some layout today. We have the author in here. That's Azi1. Or I hope I'm saying that right. Just here to body double. You working on anything today? No pronunciation. My one janky SSD keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. Okay, so let's get to plugging the challenge types back in. Okay, dwarf, come here. All right. I do not envy you working on an AP. I've written small adventures before, and small ones can be really fun. But I've also worked on trying to make APs before, and it gets to be really hard, really fast. At least for me, like shorter ones are easier. I mean, that goes without saying, but like making a bounty is like 50 times easier than making even a short adventure. Interested in collaboration? Collabing is always good. Collabing can help cover over parts that you either don't think about or don't like to think about. Bro. Oop, what did I just do? Challenge type. Forge dwarf is defense. Hope so I spell right. Rock dwarf, challenge type, physical attacks. Young blood. Saving throw. Let's just copy that whole thing so that if it is a saving throw, we don't have to type it back out again. Like here. Boom, saving throw. Dwarven lore is skill checks. Skill check. Actually, yeah. Or we're capitalizing them because it's a header, technically. Skill checks. So we can capitalize there, I would say. And we're gonna flow here because we don't want to be cutting things off. And that was one of the things I was talking about, the difference between me and James's style. One of the reasons I prefer flow is if you change things, like if you have to add up here, you don't have to manually cut and paste things down here. But different people find it easier to work different ways. And flow can create its own issues. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, so that was Dwarven lore. Dwarven weapon familiarity is going to be physical attack. Mountain strategy is physical attack. Rock runner is movement and skill check. Or is it skill check or skill checks? Consistency is good. Going AFK. All right, Ozzy. Take it easy. Oh, that's not the thing I was trying to bring up. Skill check, no plurality. Okay. So it's just skill check. I think I did skill check. No blur. Physical attack is also not pluralized. Where is it? I see. Okay. Probably remove the I'll ask when they're back, if they come back. The troubles of auto format is that it breaks. Excuse me. I don't know why these got set to 2. There we go. Stonemason's Eye is skill check and sensory ability. Oops, I hit caps lock at some point. Sensory ability. ABC. It should probably be the other way around. Sensory ability. Skill. Okay. Burdened iron is movement. Okay, on to elf. Or consistency. Old. Varies. Encounter replace with format Arctic. Oh, yes. Oh, I had a question for you. On these ones makes on these parts we've got bolded, it makes sense that they could have the semicolon or the colon, but because they're bolded, they don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a dip. There, Arctic elf. Sorry. But because we got it bolded through the formatting alone, we could remove the colon if you want. We don't have to. We don't have to not. It's up to you. Because, like, for example, it could look like this instead. What do you mean you don't want Acritic elves? They're the most busted elves in the game, Acritic elves. For right now, I'll leave the colons on. But if you decide that you don't want them, just let me know. I'll remove them. Character style, strong, find. Make them all that way. Exploration. Fine. Make them all bold. Acrylic elves. Because acrylic elves just be like half elf, half automaton, or mixed ancestry, rather. Just a really old, skinny piece of plastic that shoots lasers. Okay, it does it right there. Provides resistance to cold. And I need the actual original thing back. Okay. So let's. We've got ads. Challenge type is defense. Oop, it's not typing. Sensory ability. What's this? Sphere. Cast a spell, skill check. Cast a spell. Skill check. Whisper Elf is physical attack and skill check. Ozzy, are you around? I have a technicality for you. Perception is not a skill in 2E. It is a standalone thing. So do you want it to be skill check or sensory? Yeah, we can skill check. Oh, okay. Okay. I should probably go back and read that at some point. Fair enough. I am reordering them if they're out of order. Like this one, they were swapped. Just so that they're in alphabetical order. That is just a pleasant thing for people. Far from required, but so let's see, we have mobility and defense. Is that meant to be movement on Woodland Elf instead of mobility? I think. Oh, I see. Okay. I can reorder it back the other way. What was the other one I did that to? I think it was in Dwarf. It was 2 S's. Sensory ability and skill check. Okay. I'm putting movement here. I assume was the intent, because on the dock it says mobility. Yeah. All right. Cool beans. We are overflowing, so we are going to scroll that, and we are going to have to add a page. Well, that's an athletic skill check. The giant eagle flying above and hide. I think skill check is better. Okay. Skill check. Yeah. Excuse me. Right, and they only get a boost to how fast they move on a successful check. It's not automatic. Okay, so elf is overflowing, which means we need another page for elf. All right, at this point, I'm just gonna flow it with gnome, and then I'm gonna flow gnome with goblin. Let's see if we've got room left. We will. Yeah. Okay, and we will deal with the particulars of that at a later date, or point at least. Oh yeah, it'll be a later date. I'm not finishing this today. I have to go to work after a little bit here. Oh no, you're fine. I didn't expect to finish today. Totally movement. Oh, okay. No biggie. Movement. Defense. I did spell it right the first time, and I doubted myself, and I looked at the way it was spelled. Okay, hold on. Defense. Find. Replace with defense. Find. Replace all. Fine. Okay. Oh. No. Reset. D, fine. Replace. Or it might be in defenses. I'm doubting my ability to spell, which is not uncommon. is an S even then. It's like, I often do editing work, and then I feel weird because I'm bad at spelling. It's because when I'm not sure about a spelling, when I'm doing editing, I'll actually look it up. Oh, we got way up in the book here. Okay. Too far. Further up. Okay. So we had Woodland Elf, and we put our challenge type in. Berries. This was inconsistent. That to 7. Set that to 3. Skill check challenge type. Ooh. Skill check. Elven lore, skill check. Elven weapon familiarity. What am I doing? Brain. I already did that part. Derp, 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 derp. Cool. Attack. Forlorn is saving throws. Really check the thing. Saving throw, but don't pluralize. Nimble elf is movement. Otherworldly magic is cast a spell. Unwavering mind, or main, or mean, or however it's pronounced, is saving. Skill check for Chameleon. Fade touch, just cast a spell. Sensory ability and skill check for Sensei. Umbral has sensory ability. Cast a spell for Wellspring. There isn't one for Animal Accomplice, but I assume it's skill check. Ozzy. As the encounter has you use command an animal to carry an action, which is usually accompanied by a check. Or no, because that's a familiar. So does it just not have a challenge type? Okay, yeah. There's no skill roll. Yeah, I forgot that was their familiar feat, and I was just like, oh yeah, you command a animal. Is that how it works? I think you just use command. Yeah, it's just command, not command an animal. You want me to fix that? Yeah. But yeah, I think it was the command an animal that made me think the other way initially and threw me off. You don't use command an animal on minions, you just use command. Which I think is in minion. That's fair. For an animal companion, you command an animal. For a minion that is a spell or magic item effect, like summon minion, you sustain. If not otherwise specified, you issue a verbal command as a single action with the auditory and concentrate tricks if given no commands. So it's specifically animal companions use command an animal. Other minions use sustain, and it's an unlisted command effect for everything else. So would you like that changed or leave it as it is? The way I would reword it based on that, because familiar has command capitalized, but it's also not a. It has it capitalized in one spot. Which may be oversight. Maybe instruct instead, yeah. You instruct. Oops. You're familiar to carry out an action. Able to tell how your familiar feels about being commanded. Provides familiar. Okay. Command an animal only applies to animal companions, like you get from Druid or Beastmaster or Ranger, and other animals, like animals that are not minions. Familiars fall into the unlisted types of minion for the minion trait. Because remember, not all familiars are animals. Although this one would be rather expressly, at least initially. And the remaster of the pet general feat is what it keys off of. Pet. Usual. Use command and okay. Well, hell, fair enough. Put it back the way it was. It's fine. That's my bad. I really need to catch up on all the remaster changes. Like I know some of them really well already, and some of them just slip by. It's also like mildly just weird and like this clarifies where it could also be in the minion trait the way animal companions are, but familiars are weird. This Song of Storms. Very, very iconic song. All right. Back to it. Animal Elocutionist is a skill check. I messed up and copied the wrong thing. Got a skill check around here somewhere. Yep. Copy paste that one. Faith Fellowship, skill check and saving throw. First World Magic, cast a spell. Oops. Brain go brrr. Physical attacks for weapon familiarity. For physical attack, remember not to pluralize. Attack. Dun, dun, da, da, dun. Illusion Sense is a skill check and saving throw. Oop. Found a little oopsie. And now we're on Windfish Isle. This is Mabe Village. Sword Sir. Razzle Dazzle is skill check or cast a spell. I remember because Gnome was the first one I was doing. I was like, some of these things seem inconsistent. Oh well, I'm not putting them in because none of the other stuff was put in that way. But now that I understand the way they're laid out, it makes more sense. Goblin. Defense flat check. Flat checks is pluralized. So remember that one. Defense flat check. Downtime saving throws. Razor Tooth is physical attacks. No goblin is probably defense, right? Yeah. Defense. Then Unbreakable is also thin air. Arrow for Razor Tooth, didn't need any more. You bite someone. Yeah. Didn't. It's just 3 words. You bite someone. It works. Oh, and it does need a period though. You wanna know a weird thing. So parentheticals like this want the period inside the parenthetical for whatever reason. I don't know the actual reason why. I just know that's what you're supposed to do. I could never remember that until somebody made a meme about it that was really weirdly sexual. And now every time I see a parenthetical without a period, it pops up into my head and I'm just like, well, at least I know where to put the period. But yeah, you bite someone, perfectly succinct. It fits them well. And I love Unbreakable Goblin. I did the math and it's just like, if you play a level 1 Unbreakable Goblin wizard with no con, like 0 con, you can fall, I think, 60 feet and stand up and be fine. If it's either 60 or 59 feet, something like that, because you have what is it? No, yeah, you have 16 hit points. So you can fall 60 feet and be fine. You can't take anything after that, but it's a great way to run away. It's just like, oh no, I can't handle this fight. Yeet, and just go off the edge. And that's definitely defense. Physical attacks. I am about to have to wrap up. Talking and typing. Physical attack. I am gonna have to wrap up here in a couple of minutes because I do have to get ready for work. But I'll be working on this again, maybe a little offline, and next week, either on Tuesday or Wednesday. No problem. If you wanna tune in next week, I'll hit you with the link, so that you know when I go live. What's the best? Oh, I like the personification in, or like the voice in some of these in the Goblin. What's the bestest thing you find? Where is it? Oh yeah, right here. City Scavenger's skill check. So I'll go ahead and finish out the goblins right quick. and then we'll find somebody to raid. Goblin lore is skill check as well. Goblin scuttle is movement. Goblin song is skill check. Goblin weapon familiarity is physical attack. Junk Tinker is skill check. Rough Rider is skill check and movement. Skill check. Alright, and that's our gobos. No? Very sneaky. Or, oh, I skipped ahead. This one is just movement. Jack. Skill check and movement. Okay, we should be back. Assuming, the thing's not lying to me, which it might be. But I'm gonna find somebody to raid right quick. We got the goblins all done. I did make a slight tweak to the challenge type here to be skill check and movement. Since there's only one entry here, I think that's more consistent with your intense Aussie. But other than that, I will be back on with this next week. And tomorrow is... What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Friday. So tomorrow I will be doing layout for Sinclair's Codex. Saturday, I actually have something I'm kind of excited to do. I'm going to be doing a little layout for my own project to post on Patreon, which, as always, my stuff on Patreon is completely free. There's no paywall. I do appreciate anyone supporting me there or even just following. But I'm going to be working on environmental dangers, which are not the same as hazards, but they can fall into XP if they're prominent enough. But basically, like if you push somebody through a window or onto a spiked fence, all those things that normally don't have something going for them. I wrote up a system that allows you to have these natural environmental hazards around and to have the players and creatures utilize them. And I'm going to be working on making that nice looking on Saturday. So that's my plans for the rest of my week. I take Sunday and Monday off from streaming. And then we'll be back around on Monday. If not with the Pit Fiend going into Foundry, I might finish that offline. We'll see what we have Monday, and then Tuesday I will be working on this again. Well, we'll see what I do Wednesday then. It's one of my sort of mushier days. I might also do this on Wednesday just because sometimes on Tuesday I have errands, and if I have to run late, I'd rather yeah, I have a lot of things. I have a lot of different things to do. So let's go look at Peregrine the Third. They're playing Pathfinder Kingmaker. Session 19. With some of their friends. So we will go see them. And thank you for tuning in and chatting with me. I'll see you later.